sharing durian ASEAN.
ASEAN Dailies. First and foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Good morning, this is Grace. Welcome to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. We'll be bringing news from Southeast Asia and also discuss, analyze the news around the world, both international and local news. Today is Thursday, and then we have quite a few number of news that we can share at our Durian ASEAN today. So we're gonna start off with something pretty unusual, which is about the shrimp shells that actually could replace plastic packaging, according to the studies that was made a few days ago. And apparently packaging made from the recycled crustacean shells could reduce the need for plastic wrappings to preserve the fresh vegetables, reduce oil consumption, and give food longer shelf life. This has not been implemented yet, but it looks like it shows that it will actually also help a lot to environmental issues nowadays as well. And this chitosan, which is a bioplastic made by isolating organic matter from the shrimp shells, was actually shown to help preserve the shelf life of baby carrot in a new study that was published in the journal Post-Harvest Biology and Technology. So basically, you can almost double the shelf life of carrots with the chitosan. Chitosan is very a well-known element which comes from the shell and also especially seafood shells, and it is also well known for to be consumed, because usually when people have shells, they tend to just separate the shells from the fresh itself. However, it's got a lot of element nutritions there, so some people actually do eat, and it's actually edible. So it is also better for the environment that I've just mentioned than plastics. And the coating, it cannot be tasted. And also the chitosan was applied to the baby carrots as a spray, forming a thin packaging that kept it fresh for longer. So if this one can actually replace instead of having plastic container or plastic wrapping, and also can also preserve better, definitely it's actually good for environment, not only for environmental, but then also for household as well. And according to the researchers, say that the consumers could buy vegetables from the farmers market and spray them with this element called chitosan to make them last longer in the fridge as well. So it's got quite a lot of benefits that can come from the shell itself. And also, just to add one more information, it also has the low cost of oil. The key ingredient of plastic, it could slow the development of chitosan product, as companies have less incentive to change their approach to packaging and preserving food. So far there has not been a large-scale investment improving manufacturing of this base product. However, it will be implemented and through several more testings and also to applications. However, it's actually good news to save environmental issue, as well as to improve environmental issues as well. Moving on to the next news is about the news that we actually reported yesterday regarding the ISIS matter. And now they have caught two Japanese guy in Syria, and it was actually devastating news to all the nations, especially to Japan. And Japan's media have cast doubt on the authenticity of the video that was purposely showing these two Japanese nationals held by militants from the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, even as the government races against time to resolve the crisis. So what's going on here is, in Japan, it was quoting the unnamed government analyst said that the video may not be the authentic and it could have been synthesized from separate images. And in fact, this is not the first time. Even before, it was noticed that the several videos that made by the ISIS and also coming from the group itself, it didn't look real, and they may have used several times to just broadcast and also just for the purpose of threatening people out there, in order to get more fun and then to be able to make them as hostages to ask more from the government. And also, they've analyzed a few suspicious factors from the video, which was believed to be uploaded on the internet by the branch of the ISIS. It shows the freelance photographer whose name is Kenji Koto, and then self-styled military contractor Haruna Yukawa. They were dressed in orange clothing and they were kneeling, while a knife-waving black-clad militant stands in between them. So that's what's been shown in the video. However, there is a shadow behind Mr. Koto in the video. The shadow that Mr. Yukawa was only partial, and it will point to slightly different direction. So all this analysis has been going on before Japan actually took into action to pay the huge amount of money to this ISIS. And also, in addition to this, Mr. Yukawa's clothing is seen to flutter in the strong breeze, but not from the Mr. Koto. So there are a lot of suspicious factors that have been noticed from the video itself. And other than that, this NHK public broadcaster, NHK is one of the biggest media in Japan. They've quoted that the public relations person for ISIS was saying, "It is not that we need the money, it is the ISIS that spends more than in one day. It is not economic, but it's just a spiritual war." However, this whole the commotion right going down in ISIS, and then by having them as hostages now, and also that result threatening the nation, Japan is definitely taking into consideration and then look into deeper by having more analysis before taking into action. And at the press conferences in Jerusalem, Mr. Abe expressed that ISIS threat was unacceptable and also strongly condemned acts of terrorism. Definitely, after the incident that happened in Paris and also other countries like the previous ones, the Australia, now it has come to Asia region, and these two Japanese guys happened to be there to carry their work, and they're caught. So definitely on the Japanese side, it is an unacceptable incident by the ISIS, and also asking huge amount of money, which is up to 200 million US dollars. And also to pressure the government that they are only given 72 hours. At the same time, Mr. Abe stressed that he had directed his officers to deal with the matter from the perspective of respect for human life, which is believed that it is a right approach. Thus, all those analyses and studies are going on to notice what's really happening there, and before giving up that huge amount of money from Japan to them.
And earlier Wednesday, which was just yesterday, government spokesman, Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga announced that the families of Mr. Koto and Mr. Yukawa have identified the two men in the video. So that is already confirmed. Those two are men that are already identified. So by having all those footages from the video, we hope to hear positive news from this incident as soon as possible. And it's also we are having putting our eyes on the Japanese government, how they will handle this situation regarding this ISIS matter. Well, let's travel back to our country. Regarding all those introduction of GST and the budget 2015 that was tabled in October last year, a lot of concerns have shown to the public and expressed via a lot of channels, for example, social medias, that they were actually worried about the jobs. However, our Prime Minister Najib actually mentioned the Malaysians, your jobs are safe. Prime Minister Najib Razak, in the interview session that was shown on TV3, which is also called Swal Jawab, conducted by Khazanah Research Institute Managing Director Datuk Charon Bonzani, he expressed that Malaysia, as a net oil importer, stands to gain from lower global crude oil prices. Well, despite the slowdown of the global and the local economic growth, Malaysians can be assured that their jobs are safe, also secured, even though it is, realistically noticed that with all this GST and also tax pool, as far broader, this should result in more revenue that can be just used for the country's development expenditure. It's only 1 in 12 people will pay any income tax. It will definitely slow down in terms of economic growth. However, there will be hardly possibilities of having the reduction in salaries. And also he gave this firm assurance during the interview, saying that the slowdown of global and local economic growth will not have a big impact on Malaysians. and that there won't be any retrenchment or reduction in salaries, like I mentioned before. And also worse, he said there may be a slower growth in the number of new job opportunities as employers adjust to the changing economic environment. This is coming from Prime Minister Najib. This is actually I would say positive news to the public. However, realistically speaking, the job opportunities in Malaysia is getting harder. A lot of people have been complaining about their salary compared to the increment of the living cost here in Malaysia. So those are the things that also need to look into the consideration when it comes to implementation of GST. Also, perhaps it is necessary to revise the 2015 budget. With the strategies that were introduced to reduce costs and increase the revenue, it may be slowed down because of this all issues and also the economic crisis. However, he stressed out by saying that it does not mean that Malaysia is specifically in the economic crisis or downturn. Well, to be honest, salaries and the jobs might still increase, but at a slow rate. So yes, that's it for the first segment of the news commentary. We'll come back for the more news from Southeast Asia after just one song.
ASEAN Dailies. First and foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Welcome back to Durian ASEAN. This is Grace and Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. So let's continue with our news from Southeast Asia and also internationally and locally. So here we are. What would you do if you ever applied for lottery and you never actually realized that you won the lottery?
But then you just happen to find a few days ago, before it was at the collection of deadline. So what happened to this French man who actually won the lottery of 73 billion euro? He was almost just ignored that, it could be just one of his luck or one of his days that he bought the lottery, but will not happen. But this Euro Million lottery winner who hit the jackpot of 73 million euro, he did not realize that he actually won the lottery until 3 weeks before the collection deadline. So this man came within the 3 weeks of allowing this huge amount of money, which is around 304 million ringgit lottery win, to evaporate after carrying the winning ticket around his wallet for a month. The man from the northern eastern France, he's also online subscriber to her Euro Millions. He hit the jackpot in December last year, but he had stopped routinely checking his numbers. Because to check the right numbers for the lottery, you need to do the regular checkup. However, he just stopped doing that for some time, and the winners have to have around 2 months to present their tickets. It's a story with a happy ending for sure, the man told the Francis, the Jew who actually robbed the lottery in France. It is also lucky, and it is also a coincidence that the one person wins the huge amount of money via lottery. And also, to think about it now, it is something that he could have collected a long time ago. Anyway, he'll collect it finally. And also to think that for more than a month, he didn't realize that he was carrying around the lottery ticket that was worth 73 billion euros. So it is actually a shocking news to him, and also perhaps his families and the surroundings as well. So when he finally showed up at the lottery outlet, he was told that we've been waiting for you. So definitely it is something, envious news and also shocking news to this one man. Moving to, perhaps let's travel to Thailand. After the government system has changed to military system. From the government side, they have been trying so much, a lot, to be able to convince public and also to be able to improve the economic growth in the nation. Now the Thai junta, he wants to spend around $7.5 billion on a water project in 2015 and 2016. So the government itself is planning to invest around the 7.5 billion that I mentioned on urgent water management project over the next 2 years. And the military government is also trying to tackle the economic problems after taking power in May last year to end a month of this political unrest. It's been going on for some time, and the people there are not still happy about this system that's been going on, and all this implication that have been forcefully applied by the government. So the details covers Minister General Chatkai Kaluria told reporters that the project would help resolve problems caused by this drought, which was the weather problem. And also he will spend another 110 billion baht this year, and also the rest of the year to add the fund that will come from the annual budget and also borrowing. These projects are part of the new 10-year water management plan, and also it is aimed at solving water-related problems across the country after the government actually scrapped around 350 billion baht water plan initiated by the previous administration. Well, it is definitely a step forward movement from the Thai junta government. However, it is a matter of again, how they will execute the plan, and also to be able to meet the people's expectation in the nation itself. And moving to, let's travel to Indonesia. This is regarding our tragic incident that happened to AirAsia crash. The Indonesia expressed that they will not make public full preliminary AirAsia crash report. It was reported regularly and also pretty on real-time basis from AirAsia to public via a lot of channels. However, Indonesia's investigators may release some initial findings next week into last month's crash of the AirAsia. That just a little bit about the background that has actually killed 162 people. But the full preliminary report will not be made public. That was expressed just a few days ago, and this was vanished, and a lot of people were concerned about this incident because this is not the first time that happened from our nation in Malaysia. However, this is between the Malaysia and Indonesia. That Transport Minister Ignatius Jonan expressed that the preliminary hearing that the plane had climbed faster than normal in its 5 minutes. Well, so far the facts and the stories that have been reported to public was the weather was really bad and the plane actually went above the bad weather, and that happened and also led to the disappearance of the plane on the day, and it was also not supposed to take off on the day itself. So still a lot of speculations are going on here, and investigators, they are still on the search to find the exact reason why plane had to crash in the midway of the crashing the ocean. And investigators are expected to submit this report to the International Civil Aviation Organization, which is also called ICAO, in line with the ICAO regulations. That preliminary report must be filed within 30 days of the date of the accident. And definitely this will not be exposed to the public. This is only for the consumption of those countries that are involved. So it could be very pretty secretive too, and also they are being very careful of what they are going to release about this incident. So I'm going to take another very short break, and when I come back, I will share more news from the other countries.
ASEAN Dailies. First and foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Good morning, welcome back to GN ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing, and you are still with Grace. Well, we just shared quite a few news from Southeast Asia and also locally as well. And today, well, now at this point, there is this news that it was just found out that Israeli arrested in Madonna song leak probe, which means the Israeli police have confirmed that they have detained a man suspected of hacking her computer and selling the pop icon songs online. It was probably the one of the stealing of the work of the number of the international stars, but he declined to name any of these possible victims yet. So it was last year in December, unfinished tracks were leaked from Madonna's Rebel Heart album before it was released, and also act the singer described as artistic rape in the post, which brings a lot of reputation as well as rumors around this album. And Asher Witzman, the owner of the Witzman Yar Investigation Fund in Israel, he mentioned that Madonna's team contacted his company several weeks ago to look into the matter after rumors of Israeli connection to the leak. And also Madonna, who is the devotee of Kabbalah, the Jewish mysticism, has visited the country several times and also kicked off a 2012 world tour in the Tel Aviv as well. And the investigators found her computers at home and also at the studio.
were broken into from the computer that it was in Israel. And they also tracked down the computer and the man who was behind it. After gathering enough evidence, returned to the police and he was arrested. So finally, even though the man was arrested, he may not be the only one who can actually leak all those information and all those materials that one artist could make. And also, it was also before she released her album last year. The name of this 39-year-old suspect was not immediately released by the police, who said its cyber unit had carried out an investigation along with the FBI following the complaint from a Madonna representative in Israel. Lot of all these informations are very crucial and important to one artist when those are leaked by one group or community via social media or other channels. It is very unlikely to create the hype of the artist, as well as it will definitely damage the reputation of one. And definitely this man who was arrested, he is suspected of computer hacking, copyright violation, and then other recipe of the violation act that he has done before. And let's move to perhaps to Indonesia, which is actually a positive news that they are looking forward to carried out in this year, 2015. So Indonesia expects on mild rice production that to rise to 73.4 million tons this year, and also from an estimated 70.61 million tons in 2014. So definitely this will boost up the agriculture output in this 2015. The agriculture minister told the parliament about this plan and also this prediction in 2015, and he said also the rice output will be reaching 82.09 billion tons by 2019. And he has a very positive prediction in this as well, by saying that this corn production this year at 20.33 billion tons compared to 19.13 billion tons established for last year. And also the other category of agriculture side is also soybean, which output will reach 1.27 million tons versus 0.92 billion projected for last year, while sugar production would be around 2.97 billion tons versus estimated 2.63 million tons for 2014. And also there are other areas such as cocoa production, which is expected to go up till 791,000 tons from around 709,000 tons, which was from the last year. So with the new president, Joko Widodo, and also him taking the office, he wanted the Southeast Asian nation to be the self-sufficient in sugar, rice, and corn within 4 years. So which is actually good for Indonesia, and also when it comes to with a lot of agreement that's been going on, such as TPP and RCEP, this will benefit not only Indonesia but also Southeast Asia as well. And perhaps we can wrap up the news by reporting the news perhaps from Sabah. Sabah does away with line category in government forms, meaning that the government of Sabah has decided to do away with the line, or in English it also called others category, on its official forms with immediate effect. The state secretary mentioned that now applicants may write their race on the government forms. And also it was the decision after it was approved the Sabah cabinet meeting. And he also mentioned that the state government would also present the list of races and ethnic groups in Sabah to the National Registration Department for references when processing birth certificates and identification cards for Malaysians here in Sabah. So this The category, the line has been pretty much, it looked like it was segregated from other races so far in Malaysia. Malaysia is rich in a lot of culture and also races when it comes to this category, and not only Malays, Chinese, and Indians, but a lot of people here, they are also descended from many other races. So they are used to put it under line. But in Sabah, the decisions was made following requests from Barisan Nasional and opposite the lawmakers as well as non-governmental organizations to the state government to emulate Sarawak in abolishing line category on official government forms. And just to add more information to this news, Sarawak Chief Minister Tan Sri Adanan Saturn, who announced the decision on Saturday last week, and it was said it was made possible through the efforts of ministers from Sarawak, such as Datuk Seri Douglas Uga and Datuk Joseph and Tulu Baluan, where all these indigenous groups such as Iban, Bidayu, and Orang Ulu were no longer referred as others into race column. So that's it for our news commentary today. And we have our website, durianasean.com. Please do visit our website for more information. We have most of the content there, so you can refer and also share via social media. And in fact, we do have social media such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to leave any messages that regards to Southeast Asia or any around the world.